What's my favorite ocean? Let's just say I don't have a Pacific favorite. Hey, shh. Welcome back to Not Another Needless Sequel, where we watch movies and propose unnecessary prequels, sequels, reboots, and remakes. My name is Kane. With me, as always, is my co-host, my wife, and the only person I want boarding my boat, Kelsey.
I am Kelsey of Nan's Pod. You will listen to our podcast, you will watch our TikToks, and vote on whose sequel was better.
This week, we voyaged across the ocean with 2016's Moana. So what do you think the story was?
What'd you think of that intro?
Must I always give my review?
Yes.
In the middle?
Yes.
It's certainly an intro. Way to say hello.
You didn't like it?
I didn't say I didn't like it. Is the uncomfortability of it not the goal?
I guess.
I'm far too awkward that if your intro is not just simple, I'm like...
Well, fine. So, the movie. Back to that?
Yeah, what do you think the story was?
It's a coming-of-age story
Oh.
about a young girl, Moana, and she lives on an island and needs to sail across the sea to restore the heart of Te Fiti to keep her island from dying.
Yes, so the legend of Te Fiti is that there was a demigod named Maui that stole the heart of Te Fiti a long time ago to try and bring the power of giving life to mortals, and she got mad about that, and it caused like a darkness to roll into the land and start destroying islands and wildlife.
Because Te Fiti was the one who made the islands.
And, they need to deal with it. Moana's family doesn't want to leave the island, doesn't want to ever do anything about that. The whole beginning is the song that is talking about how she needs to stay on the island and do what she's supposed to. I wrote down that it's like the opposite of Little Mermaid, where she can't go to the ocean. I guess it's like Little Mermaid 2.
Yeah. Little Mermaid 2 is good if you all need to watch it. It's pretty good.
That beginning song in Moana is so good.
It is. Make way.
Not only is it so catchy, but it does that thing, and I can't think what the name was, but we talked about it when we did Hercules. Like, it's this song that, like, basically presents the problem and kind of shows you what needs to happen and, like, plays out the whole plot like that. And I just really like that beginning song. But Moana is like, all right, I will just, as a kid, she's really attracted to the ocean, and you actually see the ocean is like mystical and magic and alive, and it gives her the heart of Te Fiti when she's a kid. But she doesn't know that. She just drops that back in the ocean, and she's just grows up to be like, okay, fine, I'll do what my parents want. I will be the chief of this island. But there's a blight on the island. The coconuts that they get from the trees start coming back all ruined and destroyed.
I will say that they look like ash, but everything starts dying, and that's when Moana becomes more drawn back to the ocean after talking with her grandma more.
Yeah, because they say that there's no fish near their island anymore either, and so she's like, well, why don't we go past the reef? And her dad is outraged by that. After talking with her grandma, she gets the heart of Te Fiti, which is a necklace that she wears, and the symbol on the necklace is called a kuru. It represents the unfurling frond, symbolizing new life, new beginnings, personal growth, hope, a new start, perfection, rebirth, awakening, purity, and the spirit of rejuvenation and peace.
My lord, do you want to add anything else to that? I will say that her grandma gives that to her as she's dying, and yes. I took it as the only life force her grandmother had left was to give Moana the strength to leave.
Yes, and it's the same
and
time...
And that's why Grandma died.
Yeah. It's the same time that Moana discovers that her people on the island used to be voyagers, and they weren't always there. They traveled across the ocean to get there. She finds like these huge boats, bigger than their normal fishing boats, that show that they had been exploring. So in real life, according to archaeological evidence, the exploration of Western Polynesia, they happened rapidly until about 900 BCE, and then it stopped suddenly for over 1,000 years. And then it resumed just as suddenly, with all of Eastern Polynesia being colonized within a few centuries. But there's no definitive answer as to why it stopped for 1,000 years. It just did. They were searching, they were doing all that, and then they just quit.
That's interesting. You always wonder, what had happened.
Yeah, and that's kind of where the story comes from with this movie. The people that wrote it, they did do a lot of research on this and pull from a lot of real things. But even though her dad doesn't want her to leave, her grandma just past, handed her the Heart of Te Fiti, told her what she needs to do. Her mom believes in her and sends her on her way, and she leaves the island. Now, very controversial, but she does not take Hua the pig with her.
Yeah, that was the biggest mistake of the movie, and that's why it doesn't have a perfect score. I'ma just be honest.
The trailers made it out to be that Pua was her sidekick in the same manner that like Mushu and Mulan, Flounder and Ariel, that kind of thing.
Correct.
And that's not what it is at all. Her sidekick is really Hei Hei the chicken. And the crazy thing is Pua and Hei Hei were nearly scrapped from the film altogether due to the internal belief that the film had too many sidekicks. If you count the water as one of her sidekicks, Maui, Hei Hei, Pua, and they felt like that was too much.
Well, let me tell you, they picked the wrong one. And they made a reason for Pua to not want to go because Pua's afraid of the water.
Yeah.
I will say, obviously we're doing this movie because of Moana 2 that is coming out. And it seems like if you watch the trailer, they're trying to fix the fact that people were outraged that Pua was not in the movie more. And there's a comment in the trailers like, you said you wanted to come this time. And so it seems like he's going to be on the voyage.
Absolutely.
And I think that was the directors and writers trying to make up for the literal outrage from Pua not being in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, people were upset. And I mean, I was upset when I first watched it. I just was not expecting that. But she does end up getting on one of the bigger ships with Hei Hei. Well, she doesn't know he's there. He's a stowaway. It's kind of funny. Like, he is just stuffed into
The food.
Yeah, the food, and he like pops up, doesn't realize what's happening, and he's just dumb the whole time. I will say that it's funnier the first time seeing how stupid he is, and then as you've rewatched it a few times, like, it starts to lose its charm.
You're like, wish it was just Pua instead.
Yeah.
That was me the first time, though, I won't lie.
Also, whenever she first tries to leave the island before she gets the heart, the water makes her boat crash and it causes Pua to be scared of the water. And I never thought about it until this time, but it's probably because the water, I was like, well, it's on her side. Why didn't it help her? Because it needed her to get the heart before she left. So it was like, you can't leave yet.
Yes.
And it threw her back. I never thought about that. I just thought, this water sucks. It's never helpful.
Yeah, like, I agree. And then when she leaves and she's trying to find Maui, a big storm comes and she's really upset and she wakes up on an island the next day. And while the water was rough to her, it needed her to get to this island and she didn't know how to navigate it. And so the storm basically guided her to him because they knew that he was a wayfinder.
Yes, and so on this island, she does find the demigod Maui, and Maui sings a song, You're Welcome, about, how he did all these things for the mortals. I thought it was really interesting the way that they used the tattoos on his body to go with that song and tell the story, because he has this whole thing where every time he does something, he earns a tattoo and it appears on his body. And Maui is of course voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I think this is certainly one of his more interesting roles compared to a lot of his other roles being kind of the same guy. He's The Rock. He's one of those people that plays the same character all the time. But I really like Maui, and even though he is presented as very arrogant when she first meets him, like I said, he's saying "You're welcome" when she's there to demand that he return this heart because he kind of caused all these issues. He's offering to sign her oar, and then he leaves her in a cave to die.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, Maui sucks. He locks her in a tomb, acting like she wouldn't starve to death.
Yeah, why did he leave her to die
I have
like
no
that?
idea.
He didn't seem like he had a problem with humans, but the first human he sees in forever, he is just like, you're dead. And I'm taking your boat.
And I'm going to eat your chicken.
That
After
too.
I fatten him up, make him a thicker drumstick.
Yeah. But she ends up getting out of there, and then, he can't seem to escape her because anytime he throws her off the boat, the water brings her back. If he tries to jump off the boat, the water brings him back. So he's forced to go with her. But first, he needs his magical fish hook, which he uses to transform and stuff.
Which is where we meet the Sea of Monsters.
Yeah, they go to the realm of monsters to get his hook from Tamatoa, who's a giant crab, and he's a decorator crab. Oh, well, at least he's based on decorator crabs. In real life, decorator crabs glue mollusk shells and invertebrates like sea anemones and sponges onto their shell.
How do they glue it?
I don't know. I guess I didn't even think to look that up. But I thought that was interesting, and I saw pictures of them, and they do like have just a bunch of stuff on their shell.
That's fine. Or
But
is it
also,
shiny?
well,
The shiny teeth sparkle.
it doesn't seem that shiny. But also, when they shed their
Shiny
shell,
teeth, shiny teeth.
they just lose all that.
Interesting. Like when they get bigger.
Yeah.
He loves the realm of the monsters thing, and he likes the crab. I think that crab is awful.
I think
He
he's
says,
hilarious.
I ate my grandma, and it took days because she was fat.
He said humongous.
Humongous.
But also, when he first picks up Moana and Moana's looking at both of his eyes, he's like, pick an eye, babe. I can't do this. Like, I can't concentrate. And that's so funny to me. Like, this is gonna sound messed up, but I mean, have you ever talked to somebody that and you're trying to figure out which eye to look at?
I do that to you sometimes because your head's quite a bit bigger than mine, and I always have to look up at you. So I like go back and forth, and then you always think I'm like staring at something I'm not, and it's really just because I can't see both of your eyes at the same time.
I eventually just choose an eye, and then I'm barely listening to the person because I'm thinking so hard about the fact that they must notice that I'm staring at one of their eyes.
One eye, one eye.
It's just it
It's
happens
hard.
all
It's
the
tough
time.
out here, everyone.
Anyway, they do end up getting Maui's fish hook from him, so now he has the ability to transform. He's a shapeshifter. And so they get to Te Fiti's island to restore the heart.
Wait, we missed a part.
Oh, I'm sorry, what part?
Fighting the coconuts.
Oh, yes. Somewhere along the way, they're attacked by the Kakamora, which are these little coconut dudes. They're probably my favorite villain of the whole movie, honestly. Like,
I just wanted to mention it because they're really funny, and it continues to show how much Maui sucks.
Yeah, I think they're hilarious. When they first show up, they look like just normal coconuts with arms and legs, and she's like, oh, they don't look so bad. And they like draw on angry faces.
Yeah, and then start attacking them because they want the heart of Te Fiti.
Yes, it seems everyone wants the heart of Te Fiti. Anyway, at Te Fiti's island, Maui has to fight Taka, which is supposedly this dark like being that is here now because
it's a lava being.
Yes, it's this giant like magma lava monster because of Maui stealing the heart. And he clashes with it. His hook hits its fist and the hook is almost broken. He freaks out about that. He's like, I'm nobody without my hook. And he leaves. He doesn't want to help anymore. He's like, you're on your own. And it's really rough for Moana because she gives up as well. She throws the heart to
She tells the ocean to take the heart back, and the ocean does.
Yes.
And they put it directly below her.
Yeah, I guess because they weren't really going to let her give up, because then the ghost of her grandmother
Grandma's
shows up.
Force Ghost shows up after Grandma's Force Ghost swims through the water as a stingray, which we've seen multiple times, but you don't confirm it's her until then.
Yes, she mentions early on that she's going to come back as a stingray, and she was right. And she kind of encourages Moana, and, you know, they sing a little inspiring song, and she gets the strength to do what she needs to. And
I am Moana!
Yeah, basically. So she, again, tries to return the heart. Maui shows up. I will say that if I have one criticism about this movie, it's that it feels like towards the end, they tried to do this whole, like, you know, the hero doesn't want to answer the call thing, and it's, like, too late. Like, we're in the last 20 minutes of the movie, and she's like, I'm not doing this. Okay, I will do it. Same thing with Maui. I'm leaving. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, but you expected Maui to do that. He sucked the whole time.
But it feels too quick that he came back.
Yeah.
And, like, he already had his moment in the beginning of, I'm not doing this. It feels dumb to have him do it again. I just think it was padding in the end. Either way, Moana figures out that Te Fiti is Taka.
And then she commands the ocean, and the ocean listens.
Yeah, the ocean opens up so that Taka can approach Moana, or she can approach it and return the heart, turning Taka back to Te Fiti and fixing everything. You know, they show Moana returning home and her island is fine, it's healthy again, there's new plants growing, that kind of thing. And the whole island has, you know, a change of heart. They return to being voyagers and continue out on the ocean. Maui leaves. Yeah. You know, he just goes to
He's like, see you around, girl. And hawks off.
Yeah, hawks off. So, the last piece of trivia I have here is about Maui. You know, like I said, Dwayne Johnson, famously normal man. He believes that voice acting is the most difficult career in acting, and is personally annoyed when celebrities are cast in animated films despite voicing their characters badly.
Who's he to judge?
When he was cast for the film, he repeatedly asked the other voice actors present if he was really giving a good performance, presumably in between him peeing in bottles and showing up late.
Aww.
Anyway, I give the movie a 4 out of 5. I do really like it, but it's like I said, my criticism is the ending just feels kind of sloppy, like they just needed to add nonsense. But overall, I like it.
I think that the part of the end was showing like that Takal wasn't going to be defeated that easily, and they really needed Moana to get past and get through, and I think that that's why that they did that. But I agree, it could use a little improvement. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoy that movie. You know, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, are we doing sequels now?
Yeah. So Moana 2 comes out soon. So what's your sequel?
It comes out this week. Sound a little more enthused.
I forgot when it came out.
It comes out this week, Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Okay. My sequel is a direct sequel. I originally had the idea of doing a TV show, and then I had an epiphany and decided to do this instead. Mm-hmm. It's called Moana 2, The Heart of Montanui. Mm-hmm. Pretty good title, huh?
It's pretty good.
The people of Montanui have been thriving following Moana and finding new islands and people to trade with. They've also just discovered new islands that they can travel to that are also uninhabited. Moana now has a little sister who stays on Montanui, which is their home base, with her parents and the other people of the villages. Unfortunately, through their travels, some of the mainland wanderers to the islands have learned of the heart of Te Fiti and want it for themselves, and don't care that the islands would be destroyed if they were to take it. They find out Moana is the chosen one and set out for Montanui. Once they find Montanui, they attack in the middle of the night and end up stealing Moana's sister, because they only ever were told that Moana was a young girl and didn't know that there was two of them, because not everyone would know that she had a little sister. Mm-hmm. In the morning, all the people are worried, and Moana comes back from a voyage to find the village to be mostly destroyed and her sister has now been taken. She decides to set out on a voyage to rescue her. The people who took Moana's sister find out that she is in fact not Moana, but decide that they will just use the sister as bait because they know Moana will come looking for her. As Moana sets out with a few other people from the island and Pua, I included Pua in my sequel. Probably would have got a 5 if Pua had been there, just saying. First stop is trying to find Maui. Once they find Maui and are on the voyage, they run into the evil coconuts again and are overtaken, but Pua has to help save the day. Next is wayfinding to her sister. They're having some difficulties, and they receive help from Force Ghost Grandma to find the people.
Force Ghost Grandma.
Force Ghost Grandma. And I spelled it the way that they did in the movie. Grandma, Gramma. Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma. They end up finding them, but the people are prepared because they were using the sister as bait and take Moana. And Maui wasn't able to save Moana in order to be able to save Moana's sister. So Moana finds out that they want the heart of Te Fiti to take it to the mainland, and Moana does not want to help, but they threaten to kill everyone, all of her people, so she ultimately is forced into helping them. She leads them to the heart of Te Fiti. As Moana tries to escape one last time, she's unable to. And right as they're about to get the heart, Maui shows up to help save the day. While everyone is distracted by Maui, and during the fight, Moana has the idea to take the heart off of Te Fiti for Te Fiti's help. Te Fiti agrees and understands that the heart will be returned afterwards. So, allowing Moana to remove the heart, Taka is unleashed and helps them destroy all of the people and all of their ships.
Oh my goodness.
Once again, the heart of Te Fiti is restored. Nobody knows about it, and Moana and friends travel home.
Okay. Just committing some murder.
The people were gonna murder the other island people, just saying.
I guess you're right. Not too shabby.
Thank you.
Well, I did a TV show.
Oh.
It's called...
That's why when you asked me about mine, and my TV show is gonna be called The Heart of Montanui, but that's kind of where I got the sequel title from. But kind of glad we didn't, so then haters can't say that we always have the same ideas.
Well, mine's called The Legend of Maui.
Oh.
So episode 1, Maui is abandoned by his parents, and he must find his own way in the world. He finds a small fishing village and tries to fit in, but struggles with self-confidence. The local fishers want nothing to do with him, but a kind woman in the village gives him a sacred fish hook and fishing line to use. One day he stows away with the local fishers, who wouldn't allow him to fish alongside them. A storm capsizes their boat, and Maui miraculously saves them all. Upon returning to the village, he meets with the kind woman again, only to find she is the god Tua, and she enchants the fish hook with the abilities we see in the movie. There's a few gods' names in this that I really apologize if I get wrong, because they are legitimate names, and I looked up how to say them, but they kind of became jumbled as I did that, so I apologize. Episode 2, Maui is now determined to use his new abilities and help more people and be the hero Tua believes he was. Maui finds an island where the people are hungry, as they do not yet have the ability to create fire. Maui tries to create fire, but every time he does, it swiftly disappears. Maui finds that the fire is being sucked into a nearby cave. He explores the cave and finds the goddess of fire, Mahuika. She will not give the island fire unless Maui can beat her in a game of fire, water, wind, which is similar to rock, paper, scissors. Maui calls on the god of weather for help and is able to bring fire to the island after beating her. Mm-hmm. Episode 3, Maui continues traveling the world until he finds a large family of wild boars that are traveling to find a new home after theirs was destroyed. But before the boars can make any headway, they have to turn back because the night comes too quickly and they are afraid of the dark. Maui offers to protect them, but it's not enough, so instead he journeys to find the sun god, Tama Nuaterea. Upon finding him, he asks for more daylight, but is blown off. So as Maui is becoming more arrogant, he challenges the sun god to a duel. Maui, however, does win, and his winnings are that the sun god will travel across the skies slowly from now on. The last episode, just before Maui decides to try and steal the ability to create life, he first tried to make mankind immortal by visiting the goddess of death, Hainua-Tipo. He challenges her to a duel as well, but she refuses and simply asks that Maui debate her on why mankind should be immortal. Maui only really wants this so he can be seen as a hero. The goddess of death shows Maui the importance of passing on and offers to extend life for mankind, but not to make it immortal. The debate does show Maui that maybe all humans are not good, which would later lend to his attitude in the movies, but still Maui decides if he can't have immortality, he will give the people the ability to create life.
So it's the story of how he came to steal the heart of Te Fiti.
Yeah.
And all the different things that he mentions in his songs that he did for humans.
Yes.
I like that. It's really good. Well thought out.
I used the real legend
Gods,
of Maui.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of that stuff he really did do, but it was a little different in the real lore.
Yeah, you gotta shape it for Disney for sure.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for listening. We do so appreciate it. If you want to talk movies with us, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, and Twitter. We are NansPod everywhere.
NansPod.
If you'd like to vote on whose sequel idea was the best, come by our YouTube channel for the polls, or let us know your idea with a comment, tweet, or you can reach us at needlesssequel@gmail.com. Links, as always, will be wherever you are listening. If I could ask you for one thing, it's to share a show with someone and leave us a review. That's how we get new listeners. Of course, I also ask that you come back for more Needless Sequels. Next week, we are watching Civil War on Max. And today I want to close with a portion of Andy Dufresne's letter from Shawshank Redemption.
What a good movie.
Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I will be hoping that this letter finds you and finds you well. Take care of yourselves, everyone. We will see you next week.
Bye!